been going to that same church for the last 29 years. Since 1994. Since the 1900s, the late 1900s is how long I've been going to that church. And no more. I'm no longer going to that church. So I went to a Presbyterian church because I heard of some things that they were doing for the poor, and I was all behind that. Went to their service. That was not the right service for me. A little too traditional, a little too 1700s, a little too much. It's high church, is what you call that. A lot of organ, a lot of robes, a lot of choirs and robes, and the songs they chose were not my style. So nothing against them. I wish them all the best, but I will not be worshiping with that church. So that one is off the list. Next is the next one I went to was called, well, I'm not going to give you the name because of doxing, but is non-denominational, and they sing, Christian contemporary songs, things that you would hear on Christian radio. Very cool, It's a what you call big church. Pastor has tattoos, that kind of church, that kind of stereotypical the pastor has tattoos kind of church. Because he's cool. He's got to show how cool he is. Got to show you his tattoos. Don't roll up your sleeves just for church, just because you have tattoos. You got to show them off. But it's very, they do a lot of things right. They do a lot of things that I have a checklist of things that I'm looking for. But it feels like I'm going to Walmart. It feels like I'm checking out my Christianity at aisle number 2. I filled out my shopping cart, and I've got my Christianity for the Sunday just in time to get home for football. Let's see, the third one. So I know, based on what I've said, based on what I just said about church number 2, they are still on my list. They're still pretty high on my list, actually. They do a lot of things that I'm looking for. They do have communion every single week. Which I'm a big fan of. I'm a big fan of every week, weekly communion. Let's see. The third church, church number 3, they had a community picnic the Saturday before the Sunday that I attended, and my wife and my son went there, had a good time. We're actually we have been invited by one of the members of the church to come to a picnic this coming Saturday. No, this coming Sunday. They are still on the list as well because of the way that the sermon was great. The sermon was heartfelt. The sermon was very. I mean, the pastor explained how hard it was to write the sermon, and he shared his heart, and it wasn't a cookie cutter sermon. Uh, he shared how he was praying for the sermon to go well, and as he was praying, uh, he got a few phone calls from people he hasn't heard from a long time, and these phone calls were saying things like, "Yeah, for some reason, I felt like I should be praying for you," and phone call number two said the same thing. "Yeah, for some reason, I felt like I should be praying for you, so thought I'd give you a call." So, so that church is high on the list. But they do not have weekly communion. So, so why am I telling you all this? Why am I coming out with my deepest, darkest secrets? Really not a secret. I mean, everybody I know from my old church knows about this. Checking out the eyes, checking out the shadows. Let's make this do that more, taper. So pray for me that I'm looking, that I get, that I find what we're looking for, because I still haven't found what I'm looking for. So another thing that is going on with my family, I think I should share this. So I've shared before that we've been going through some struggles, and those struggles are still going on. My wife did have a job at Amazon, and uh, and thank you for the prayers for everyone who did pray for her to find a job. She did find a job, but then at that job, she got injured, and now she has to find another job. Do some erasing here. So the point of that is, my wife learned about this prayer called the Prayer of Jabez, and you find the Prayer of Jabez when you go to First Chronicles. I'm not used to Bible. I'm used to. Here we go. Let's go to First Chronicles. But I use Bible Hug because there's no commercials. There's no advertisements here. First Chronicles 4. The Prayer of Jabez.